Mr. Kigenyi, engineer, Mr. Kigenyi, yesterday while sitting, the House or the Speaker referred an issue to this committee to be interrogated relating to the demolition of a portion of Owino Market. And she was very specific in the reference, saying Kcca is appearing before COSASE tomorrow, which is today, 18th March 2026. You are now required to tell us about the demolition of a portion of Owino Market. Who demolished? Demolition requires your permission. Did you permit anyone? Have you taken interest? Owino Market is a public infrastructure in your hands. Tell us about that demolition. The second issue, again, which was referred, was about the compensation for the victims of both Kcca and the floods. Now, I am alive to the fact that the issue of the channel was referred to another subcommittee or committee. We are now talking about the floods and the victims that were promised compensation. How far with the compensation? Was there another issue apart from floods and Owino? Honorable Bolamboli Elgon?
Elgon knows, Chair.
Yes.
Chair, addictions where the ED on Saturday permitted that they are declared the ongoing demolitions. And then
what do you mean by ongoing demolitions? Because I think we need to be
Owino.
specific. Yes.
At Owino. Then when the team went there, instead of rescuing the affected traders, they gave an extra order to demolish whatever was remaining. Because we saw it as Ugandans, as concerned citizens, that they were going there to rescue the affected traders, having demolished part of their buildings. But instead, again, they gave an extra order to finish everything.
Okay.
So we need that clarification as members of parliament and also to Ugandans.
The country needs answers. Honorable Kasolo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the same, while on the floor, the road mayor-elect also raised the critical issue that life was lost during the demolition. It will be important that the ED clarifies on that matter.
Peter.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, there was also the issue of the recent fires in Kcca. That one also came up. We wanted to know
The fire that gutted Kcca
market and the fires that have been going on in various markets. If we could also make the country know.
Okay.
And if there is any forensic audit they have carried out for the fires in the
That
market.
is between Monday and today. The chairman of this committee is responsible for those floods. At some point, that he smuggled a report which was signed by members and adopted by Parliament in relation to this Nachivubo channel. Clearly out of context, because we never considered that matter, and we are not considering it today either. So they will tell us what causes the floods in Kampala, why are people losing property, why are people losing lives, and what are you doing about it? I think the Honorable Itungo's question to put in proper English is to say, why is there too much chaos? There is heavy traffic everywhere. Are you planning or you're not planning for this city? Honorable Subiki Nyamata.
Committee. There are rumors on the streets and in media that you're going to demolish. You gave out an achievable settlement and an achievable blue primary schools.
Can we say there are reports and
Okay,
talk
there are reports.
such that
Thank
Parliament
you.
does not trade in rumors?
Yes, there are reports that you gave out an achievable central settlement and achievable blue primary schools.
That those schools are under threat.
Yes, they are under threat. So we want to know as Parliament if that is true. And so we forge a way forward. And
No, and you tell us why.
of course, they will have to explain why they would risk schools.
Why you're finishing all public schools?
And secondly, there is a big issue of vendors, and part of the vendors are people who build on the road reserves. And we are wondering if you have an enforcement team to deal with people building in road reserves, because they build there and 10 years, 20 years, you're looking on, and later on you come to demolish their small buildings, and then politics come in, and then it becomes another matter, when the real matter was why they settled on road reserves and why did you accept them for that
they
long
built
time.
there.
They built there, road reserves. What plans do you have for road reserves in this town? Thank you.
Apology for coming late. My name is Naomi Kabashara, MP Rushenyi. My late coming was exactly what someone asked about this. The jam caused by poor planning. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that the roads are now being worked on, although in the questions we shall ask later how they are worked on. But I think you need to plan for us better. You cannot plan to put, is it a bypass? When I had a bypass,
A flyover?
a flyover, I thought it was going to come and maybe go up to Mbarara on Ginger Road or where. Only to, it was just a correction. You know, you correct all those vehicles and converge in one place. So in other words, it was not helpful. It is not helpful. It instead escalated the problem of jam. I don't know whoever planned it. Maybe you need to go back to the drawing board. You spend money, but spend it on something that will not solve the problem. That is one. Secondly, yesterday, Mr. Chairman, when we were in Parliament, in the Speaker's communication, someone asked, I think it was either leader of opposition or I don't remember, but the Speaker said that COSASE will take it up. And the question was, we watched on TV, there was some demolition in that down market. Then KCC came in and stopped. Then still in news, on Sunday, I think it was, I don't remember the time, the demolition instead started and they were allowed by KCCA. So can we get to know who is doing what?
The preliminary questions that have been raised. We have about 9 broad questions, and I will try to respond to them urgently. The first question refers to the demolition of a part of St. Balkudembe Market, formerly Owino Market, that happened on the 7th day of March 2026. It is true, Mr. Chairman and members, that by the time this happened, Kampala Capital City Authority was neither in the know and did not therefore give authority for the demolition of that part of the market. The executive director in person was on site when she had this news up to about 4 a.m. 4 a.m. in the morning of 8th March. As a result, that is why the buildings did not go down completely. This was a matter of public concern.
So she halted.
She halted the demolition processes. We raised the technical questions. She set up a team, which team is of multi-agency composition of the Ministry of Works, Ministry Kcca, and the developer to go and investigate what had happened. A report was written on the 12th of March, and that report had raised serious issues of concern. And Mr. Chairman, I'll give a copy of this to.
Who is the developer as you bring the report?
The developer is Kcca.
Just pause a bit there. Yes, Kashari.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair, let's get clarity on the two words, the developer and the demolisher. Who is the demolisher, not the developer?
It's a straight question.
Chair, two, that report he has passed to you. I saw him remove the first page.
No,
Yeah, he plucking it out. I thought it was part of the.
Okay. Let me also receive the.
I
To
thought it was
remove
a
the doubt.
quotation. Put it out.
Let's remove the doubt by having the report, the document. They cannot listen. And what they tell you is that this woman is a lawbreaker. Granted. You have somebody demolishing what you call the public building. And in your answer you said that the previous occupants before the demolition had vacated. Did you instruct them to vacate? The microphone needs to record you. Did you instruct them to vacate?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Were they your tenants? And the answer is yes or no. Were they your tenants in that building?
We do not have tenants in the market.
Well, who are they?
Traders.
Were you collecting money from them?
No, we do not collect money from the traders.
Who was collecting?
No,
They were not paying anything.
No, the markets are public. They are free.
Do you have responsibility over them?
Yes, we do.
How did they vacate? Under what circumstances?
That I am not privy to, Mr. Chair.
Was that not a matter of concern to you as the authority?
It is a matter of concern. That's why I stated it.
But you don't know under what circumstances they vacated? Or
No.
probably they had something is coming and they fled. Where were your enforcement team that threw out vendors in Mango Market and the others off the streets that could not act in this particular case?
Mr. Chairman,
How did he didn't know there was a demolition for her to wake up, leave her bed? I'm sure that's why she's now experiencing health problems.
Mr. Chairman, there were many calls from the public, and she got a call from our enforcement manager telling her about the demolition. Mr. Chairman, may I also state that when she did arrive, one of the things that was done in causing the stoppage to the demolition was the
that we have some people arrested. 4 persons who were operating equipment that was being used to demolish were arrested. And the equipment that was being used for demolition was impounded. And these equipment were put in and the persons were put in the hands of the police to proceed with investigations and inform us, upon which we can take other action.
When you arrest vendors, you bring them to your city hall here and take them to Luzira very fast. I have been to this court. How come this time these people were taken to police? That was when?
That was on the 7th, the night of 7th March.
Yes, up to 18th today, nobody has been arraigned. Are you violating their rights in police custody by keeping them for over 48 hours, or they were released? Where is the equipment that was confiscated on that night or in that morning?
It was taken to CPS.
You told this developer, someone has called the person demolisher, to continue with the demolition because the remaining portion was unsafe. Using what equipment? Because you confiscated the equipment.
Mr. Chairman, upon receiving of the technical report of the interagency committee, with the observation that the place was unsafe, we proceeded to grant a demolition permit to Kcca Enterprises.
That the property had become unsafe. Was this a scene of crime? Was this demolition scene a scene of crime? Yes, the answer is Akena. You're the manager legal services, right? Okay, grab the microphone. This demolition without a permit of your own property, because you're the trustees, custodian of this public property, was this a scene of crime? Help your ED.
Ordinarily, yes.
Good. What is done to a scene of crime? Is it preserved or
yes,
you destroy evidence?
Honorable Chairman, you need to preserve the scene of crime for preservation of evidence purposes.
Yes.
But what I get from the accounting officer is that the technical report done by the engineers indicated that the remainder of the property was not safe.
Can you go ahead and prosecute a person you have cleared and given a permit retrospectively, thereby curing what was incurable? Can you prosecute such a person?
You can. You
How?
can, Honorable Chair, because if an offense has been committed, and there are various ways of preserving evidence.
You have participated in destroying the evidence. You have acquiesced. You have given a permit. What is the permit saying?
Honorable Chairman, I'm making the point that evidence can be preserved in several ways. One of them is photographic in nature. If the investigators who arrive
You are
at the scene...
tempting me to ask you to go and bring me those photos.
Correct the impression that these people are not simply in police custody, they were arraigned in court and have been remanded. But we also have the pictorial evidence of the state.
Honorable Kasolo, you either take your seat or exit.
Honorable Chair, when we were issuing the demolition permit, we attached the status of the buildings as is to make the case for the necessity for the demolition. May I please, with your permission, tender this permit which has more.
Plot 24. By this was given away, right? What we discussed last time before we decided to hand over to the other committee, we were discussing Nachivubo Channel. Now, under what circumstances did you give away plot 24? Number 2, with the approval now, who is the complainant in respect of the other 3 men that were remanded? Because the owner of the building is not complaining, of the property now is here, he's not complaining. He has an approved plan. In your report here, you are talking about proof of ownership. Here you gave somebody to build. Who owns plot 24?
Mr. Chairman, the approval is to demolish the unsafe property on plot 24A. The approval is not to grant the land to the developer.
Why do you think he was demolishing it? Why do you think he was demolishing it?
Honorable Chair, I do not want to impute beyond what is available to me.
No, you had a discussion with him as the authority. How did you end up as allowing him to proceed and doing this? First of all, how did you even know he's the one who demolished Kiham?
The executive director was in person on site, and he was able to know who was doing so. And from the persons that were arrested and the equipment that was impounded, he was able to find this information.
Buzaya?
Thank you. Affected by a fire, and the Uganda police force was called in to support, put out this fire. This market does not belong to Kcca. It is one of the properties under the Uganda Kingdom. The fear is therefore that this is one of the properties that is probably for the redevelopment by another party. We can never know. One, because this is not our property, but two, we have not gotten any final details about this market after the fires. On the floods in the city, yes, we have had a number of flood situations in Kampala, and Kampala capital city has a Kampala City Master Drainage Plan, which unfortunately is not yet funded, but our efforts to handle the black spots of the flood areas have continued to be implemented to ensure that we do the silt, we do support the communities in dredging channels that are in likely situation to flood.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, the other question about the apparent loss of time in the gridlocks or jam, that has been associated with ongoing works. It is true that Kampala Capital City Authority is having ongoing works on roads, but where these road works are ongoing.
Not just ongoing, but unending.
Honorable Chair, Kampala Capital City has a kilometerage of about 2,104 kilometers of roads, of which only about 700 or so is paved road, and necessitating construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of the roads. So the issue of continuous work is because of the state of the road network in Kampala. In about 18 months or so, Kampala was awash by the tag pothole city because of the number of potholes that were in this city. And there is urgent work that is being done. We are slowly getting out of the pothole city because of the road networks that is
I
being
don't
improved.
think that is true.
So true.
You know, in behind Old Kampala Police, between Old Kampala Police and Aga Khan parking, I almost felt I was going to die because I had to dump my car in a huge pothole. And you know, by the way, I landed in that one by taking a choice. Which one should I land in? And I drive a fairly big car. I now feel for those people who drive very small cars. Then you cannot tell me, just here at Old Kampala, and it's not one of those under maintenance. It is one of those where we were squeezed and forced to go because the others were terribly jammed.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Old